Poverty begins as a quiet thought that takes root in the mind and grows until it becomes a system of belief. It is not simply about not having enough money. It is about the invisible walls that tell you what you cannot have, what you cannot do, and what you are not worthy of. Every person carries an inner dialogue that determines the limits of their external world. When that inner voice is dominated by fear, doubt, and comparison, it becomes impossible to rise above the level of thought that created your current reality. The first battlefield of wealth is not the marketplace, but the mind. The moment you begin to recognize that your thoughts are creating the life you see, you take back the power that poverty tried to steal. The human mind was designed to multiply whatever it focuses on. When you focus on lack, you magnify it. When you focus on increase, your mind begins to create pathways to abundance. It starts with a shift in identity from someone trying to survive to someone destined to thrive. This change in perception begins to attract new ideas, new opportunities, and even new relationships. You begin to see what others overlook because your awareness expands beyond fear. Poverty narrows vision, wealth expands it. The moment your mind starts to imagine more, your life begins to align with that imagination. Most people live trapped in cycles because they have accepted limitation as truth. They were told that success is only for a few, that opportunity is rare, and that money is difficult to obtain. Those beliefs become invisible barriers that dictate every financial decision. But when you challenge those thoughts and replace them with beliefs that empower, the chains of limitation start to break. The energy of faith begins to replace the weight of doubt. You start to speak differently, walk differently, and carry yourself with quiet confidence. The environment around you begins to respond because your inner climate has shifted. You must guard your mind as if it were the most valuable bank vault in the world, because it is. The thoughts you deposit daily become the currency that funds your destiny. Each negative thought withdraws value. Each faith-filled declaration deposits abundance. Your mind is the soil, and your words are the seeds. If you constantly plant thoughts of lack, you will harvest lack. But if you nurture thoughts of increase, you will reap ideas that generate wealth. Every great achievement begins as a single thought that refuses to die, even when circumstances contradict it. There are moments when life will test your belief in abundance. Bills will come, doors may close, and opportunities might seem delayed. In those moments, your mind will either revert to fear or rise in faith. The difference between those who remain stuck and those who advance lies in their inner response to lack. The wealthy have trained their minds to see opportunity where others see obstacles. They don't ask, why me? They ask, what can I learn? Every challenge becomes a classroom where they discover new strategies and deeper strength. To build a wealthy mindset, you must become intentional about what you feed your mind. Every book, every conversation, every piece of information is either feeding your faith or starving it. When you surround yourself with voices of negativity, you absorb the vibration of limitation. But when you immerse yourself in words of vision, wisdom, and success, your spirit begins to rise. The mind cannot produce abundance if it is constantly nourished by scarcity. What you meditate on, you manifest. What you repeat, you create. The journey of breaking poverty requires patience because it is a process of unlearning. You must uproot years of fear, insecurity, and false identity. Every time you reject the thought that says you are not enough, you reclaim a piece of your destiny. Every time you visualize yourself walking in abundance, you retrain your subconscious to accept increase as normal. The goal is not to chase money, but to become the kind of person who naturally attracts it. That kind of transformation begins within, where vision replaces worry and confidence replaces hesitation. There is power in aligning your thoughts with purpose. When your mind understands that money is a tool, not a master, you begin to see wealth as part of your divine design. You questioning your worthiness to prosper and start seeing abundance as your rightful inheritance. The mindset of poverty is built on the fear of never having enough, but the mindset of wealth is built on the truth. There is always more being created. Every sunrise is proof that new opportunities are being born. Even your language begins to shift when your mind changes. You stop saying, I can't afford it. How can I create it? You stop saying, I don't have enough, and start saying, I am attracting more every day. Words carry power, and when spoken with conviction, they realign your reality. The moment your mouth begins to echo the abundance in your heart, circumstances begin to rearrange themselves to match your declaration. Wealth responds to bold speech and unwavering belief. When you consistently choose thoughts of abundance over thoughts of lack, the transformation becomes visible in your finances, your opportunities, and your peace of mind. You begin to notice that things start flowing with less resistance, that ideas come easier, and that doors open with divine timing. The change you once prayed for starts showing up because you have changed the source. Your thoughts. Poverty loses its power when your mind becomes fully convinced that abundance is your natural state. Faith is the currency of the unseen, the invisible force that bridges the gap between your current reality and your future abundance. It is more than belief. It is an active conviction that transforms the way you think, speak, and act. When you walk in faith, you invite divine alignment into your finances, relationships, and opportunities. Faith does not ignore the facts. It overrides them with truth. It whispers possibility when everything around you screams limitation. When your mind, words, and actions are united in faith, the laws of provision begin to respond. You stop chasing money because you understand that faith attracts what fear repels. Faith begins where logic ends. It is in those moments when you cannot see a way that faith reveals one. It does not ask how, but simply says yes to what is unseen. Every person who has broken free from lack has done so by faith. They believed when there was no evidence, they acted when there was no guarantee, and they declared increase when everything looked empty. Faith gives your words authority. It makes your declarations powerful enough to shape reality. Every time you speak with conviction, the spiritual realm begins to organize circumstances in your favor. Faith is a magnet. It draws to you the opportunities and people needed to fulfill your vision. When you believe deeply in your purpose, the right doors open, the right ideas appear, and the right timing unfolds. That is not coincidence. It is the manifestation of faith working quietly, but powerfully. Fear blinds, but faith illuminates. The moment you choose to believe that abundance belongs to you, your energy shifts, your confidence rises, and you begin to move with direction instead of desperation. Faith does not mean passivity. It demands movement. When you act as if what you've prayed for has already happened, you activate the power of manifestation. You start planning, creating, and building according to your belief. If you want to experience wealth, act like someone who is already entrusted with it. Manage what you have with excellence. Speak with assurance and give generously. Faith without movement is dormant, but faith in motion becomes unstoppable. Every action rooted in faith sends a signal to the universe that you are ready for increase. Faith also requires endurance. There will be times when results seem delayed, when nothing appears to be changing. Those are the moments when faith matures. Patience is not waiting idly. It's standing firm in belief while preparing for manifestation. The seed may be buried, but that doesn't mean it's dead. It's growing in silence, waiting for the appointed season to emerge. Wealth works the same way. When you stay consistent, speak life, and remain faithful, what you planted in faith will eventually bloom. Faith transforms fear into fuel. Every challenge becomes a reminder of the breakthrough that's approaching. When faith fills your heart, you stop running from problems and start confronting them with confidence. You no longer view lack as defeat, but as an opportunity for divine provision to show itself strong. Faith sharpens your discernment. It helps you see possibilities where others see dead ends. It gives you peace, even when the numbers don't make sense, because your trust is not in the visible, it's in the promise. The power of faith is amplified through words. Every time you speak with authority, you create waves in the atmosphere that pull resources toward you. Saying, "I will prosper," is not wishful thinking. It's spiritual law in action. Faith speaks the language of creation. It calls things that are not as though they were. The more you speak from faith, the more you condition your mind to expect manifestation, and expectation is the breeding ground for miracles. Faith turns scarcity into strategy. It teaches you to multiply what you already have instead of complaining about what you don't. When the mind is filled with faith, creativity flows naturally. You begin to see how small actions can create big results. You start investing time, effort, and energy with purpose because faith convinces you that everything you do will return multiplied. Faith gives you clarity. It turns confusion into direction and hesitation into momentum. Living by faith removes you from the pressure of competition because you understand that your source is unlimited. You no longer compare your journey to others. Instead, you trust that your path is designed specifically for your success. This inner peace frees your mind to think expansively. Faith enlarges your vision. It makes you dream bigger, plan wiser, and believe deeper. It transforms ordinary ideas into extraordinary outcomes. When faith governs your finances, your entire life begins to flow in divine order. You find yourself in the right places, meeting the right people, making the right moves. The timing becomes perfect because faith synchronizes your life with purpose. It is not blind hope. It is spiritual precision. Faith aligns heaven and earth on your behalf, ensuring that every need is met, every opportunity is revealed, and every seed of belief produces abundance. Habits are the hidden engines that power every destiny. They determine not only what you achieve, but also who you become in the process. Poverty and wealth are not accidents. They are consequences of habits repeated over time. The small things you do daily, the thoughts you entertain, and the choices you make when no one is watching are what separate mediocrity from mastery. A wealthy person does not simply earn more. They think differently, move differently, and live with intentional structure. Wealth responds to order, and order is created through disciplined habits that guide every decision and every action. Each morning offers a new opportunity to shape your future through consistency. The person who wakes with purpose and direction begins to attract results that reflect their inner discipline. When your mornings are intentional, your days become productive and your life gains momentum. Most people wait for motivation to act, but the successful act first and motivation follows. Every repeated act of focus strengthens your mental muscles and rewires your brain for achievement. What you do repeatedly becomes who you are, and who you are determines what you attract. To break the cycle of poverty, one must break the habits that sustain it. Complaining, procrastinating, fearing failure. These are silent thieves of prosperity. Wealth is built when you replace those patterns with habits of gratitude, planning, and persistence. Gratitude turns scarcity into sufficiency. Planning turns confusion into clarity. Persistence turns delay into progress. The more intentional your daily actions become, the more predictable your success becomes. Wealth does not respond to wishful thinking. It responds to structured effort, carried out faithfully. Discipline is the foundation of all wealthy habits. It is not punishment, it is preparation. It creates the structure that allows abundance to flow freely without waste. When you discipline your spending, your time, and your focus, you demonstrate maturity that can handle increase. Every time you delay gratification or make a wise decision over an easy one, you are planting seeds that will bear fruit in due season. Discipline makes you trustworthy, and trustworthiness attracts opportunity. Money flows where it is respected, not where it is wasted. Excellence is another powerful habit that draws wealth. It is doing more than what is required, giving your best in every task, and taking pride in what you produce. Excellence turns ordinary work into extraordinary outcomes. It builds reputation, and reputation builds opportunities. When you operate with excellence, you don't chase success. Success starts to chase you. The world is always searching for those who deliver consistently and stand out with integrity and precision. Excellence speaks on your behalf, even when you are silent. Generosity is a habit that multiplies what you have. Every act of giving breaks the fear of loss and creates a flow of abundance. Those who hold too tightly to what they have stopped the circulation of blessing. But those who release freely create room for more to come. Giving is not subtraction, it is multiplication in disguise. The generous hand never runs empty because it understands that wealth is a river, not a reservoir. The more it flows through you, the more it grows within you. Another wealth habit is focus. In a distracted world, focus has become a form of power. The ability to concentrate on one vision, one purpose, and one goal separates the great from the average. Every time you eliminate distractions, you reclaim energy that can be used to build something lasting. Focus creates mastery, and mastery creates value. The more value you bring to others, the more resources flow toward you. Poverty thrives on distraction, wealth thrives on direction. Learning must also become a lifelong habit. The mind that stops learning stops expanding, and a stagnant mind cannot attract new ideas or opportunities. Every book, every mentor, and every lesson adds another layer to your understanding. Knowledge sharpens your discernment. It helps you see what others overlook and sees what others hesitate to touch. The wealthiest people are not those who know the most, but those who never stop learning, evolving, and applying what they know. Patience is a hidden habit of greatness. True wealth is not built in haste, but through steady, faithful progress. When you learn to wait without frustration, you allow growth to take its proper course. Every season of delay is not denial. It is development. The person who rushes success often loses it just as quickly, but the one who grows into success keeps it. Patience guards your emotions, stabilizes your vision, and ensures that what you build will endure. The greatest habit of all is vision. Keeping your eyes fixed on your purpose, no matter the noise around you. Vision gives every habit meaning. It reminds you why you are saving, why you are learning, why you are staying disciplined. When vision is alive, habits become effortless because they are fueled by purpose. Each day you practice these habits: discipline, excellence, generosity, learning, patience, and focus. You break a layer of limitation and step closer to the flow of abundance that was meant for you.